Now on CoastTV News.
Shots fired at university, the latest as one person is dead and 6 are injured after a shooting at an HBCU in North Carolina. Deadline approaching, we'll tell you when you'll need a real ID to fly in the United States.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. Our top story this morning in Milford, city officials are considering an ordinance that would allow workers to stay home. The ordinance says that during emergency conditions, non-essential and essential workers can work from home. This includes events such as severe weather. This potential change comes as city officials say the city's code is outdated. This ordinance will be discussed at tonight's council meeting at 6 p.m. In Georgetown, the idea of potentially moving fallen patrolman Chad Spicer's memorial to another location could be discussed today. The memorial still hasn't been replaced since it was hit by a car back in 2023. Georgetown Mayor Bill West says there are no plans to move that monument yet, but there have been talks about constructing a memorial at the new police station. However, Chad Spicer's family says they want to see that memorial remain at the Circle. Spicer was shot and killed in 2009 while trying to stop a car involved in a separate shooting.
That was a very tragic night. Very tragic, and it was so horrible. And I don't want people to forget his legacy on what he was trying to do.
While the memorial move is not on the agenda, neighbors are expected to speak out during the public comment period at tonight's town council meeting at 6:45 p.m. On your screen now are fire companies honoring Thomas Berry III over the weekend. Berry was a volunteer firefighter with both the Georgetown and Ellendale fire companies. He died when a utility pole snapped, bringing down electrical wires while he was helping a driver who had crashed. The Ellendale Fire Company dedicated Engine 2 to Berry, and there is a bench in honor of him as well. We're now going to take a live look outside at Rehoboth Beach this morning, and our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trahey, is going to join us. Bob, the sun is shining. I see some people on the beach. Hopefully it's a little warmer there.
Maybe a little warmer, but it's going to be cooling down big time this afternoon, Elisa, with a sea breeze kicking in. Speaking of cooling down, look at these lows this morning. Upper 30s from Ocean City to Salisbury and Cambridge, 38 Georgetown, 37 in Salisbury, 39 in Cambridge. So just above that frosty level. And we're almost about 30 degrees warmer right now, 69 in Georgetown, 70 in Seaford with lots of sunshine. Elsewhere, mid to upper 60s away from the coast, but a little cooler at the beaches. You're in the upper 50s to low 60s, around 60 in Rehoboth right now. And we're starting to see a bit of a sea breeze there, and I think that will keep you a little cooler this afternoon, while inland areas will warm up. And we're looking at lots of clear skies right now. It's a gorgeous day, wall-to-wall sunshine as high pressure is building in fact right over the top of us. So that means light winds and warming temperatures. Already have the 70s in place, and by 2 p.m., low to mid 70s inland areas. And at the beaches, I think you're in the 50s and 60s as that sea breeze keeps you a little cooler, but inland areas maybe as warm as mid 70s from Seaford into the Salisbury area. So make sure you have your sunscreen handy this afternoon. Winds do start to turn out of the south as we will start a bigger warm up after today for the week ahead, and also a few rain chances as well. At this point, nothing too significant. I'll have much more on your forecast a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. New overnight, one person is dead and 6 are injured after a shooting at a historically black university on the North Carolina coast on Sunday. Elizabeth City State University says the person who died was a 24-year-old man who is not a student, but it says 3 of the gunshot victims attend the school, along with 2 others hurt in that commotion. The school says none of the injuries are life-threatening, but it says that shooting took place at the center of campus early in the morning.
I had left right before all of this had transpired, but I had heard the gunshots from my dorm. And then I had got a phone call saying that some people had got shot.
We're a family. It's a small school, small HBCU, so everybody knows everybody. It's a small family, so just make sure your family's okay.
And the university said it had just finished a multi-day celebration involving both alumni and students called Viking Fest. And the deadline to get your real ID is quickly approaching. Starting May 7th, we'll all need one to fly domestically. The Delaware Department of Transportation and the Division of Motor Vehicles are urging people to check their real ID status. And for those who do not make that May 7th deadline, a passport or global entry will still get you on board a flight, and you can still get a real ID after May 7th at the DMV. And we are now taking a live look outside at Washington, D.C. President Trump is back in the U.S. after Pope Francis's funeral over the weekend. The president met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Rome, and Tuesday marks 100 days in office for the president. NBC's Bianca Fucini shows us the latest as deportations and court rulings continue to dominate the headlines.
President Trump back stateside after the funeral for Pope Francis in Italy over the weekend. Trump had a behind-the-scenes meeting in Rome with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky that both described as positive.
We want to continue such meetings to bring peace to Ukraine.
In photos released by the Ukrainian government, the two are seen talking closely, as well as speaking with other leaders from the UK and France. It's a noted change from their last in-person meeting at the White House in February, which ended with Trump calling Zelensky ungrateful. The president will hit the road again Tuesday, hosting a rally in Macomb, Michigan, while deportations and court rulings continue to dominate the headlines. Meanwhile, Tuesday marks 100 days in office for Trump, whose approval rating is sinking. An NBC News Stay Tuned poll shows 55% of Americans disapprove of the way he's handling the White House. He's being hit especially hard on his economic policy, with 61% disapproving of his tariff plan.
It's all coming down. It's all looking good. The tariffs are strong.
The numbers come as stock market turmoil and recession fears plague anxious consumers, already wary of inflation. In Washington, Bianca Fucini, NBC News.
Coming up after the break, Milford major water infrastructure will tell you locals decided in terms of a referendum to borrow over $8 million. Voters in Milford have approved a major water infrastructure proposal in the city's referendum. The plan allows the city to borrow up to $8.5 million for the water system improvements in the Northwest service area. Unofficial results posted by the city show 135 votes in favor and only 21 against. Today, the City Board of Elections will certify those results and submit them to the state. Happening today, Salisbury will host a budget workshop for locals to learn more about fiscal year 2026. According to officials, there will be a discussion on the budget as well as an overview of the fee schedule. This is set to take place at 5:30 and will be located at the government office building. And Rehoboth Beach is starting its annual spring bulk pickup service today. During this time, residential property owners may discard furniture, certain appliances, e-waste, and other large bulky items free of charge. Spring bulk pickup is scheduled for today through May 2nd on the south side of the city and May 5th through 9th on the north side. City crews will pick up items daily throughout the work week in those designated areas.
We have a gorgeous Monday in progress. Wall-to-wall sunshine on the FH Fur Cam in Cambridge, 66 degrees. You're headed into the lower 70s for today with lots of sunshine. A little cooler at the beaches, but a bigger warm-up as we go through the week. In fact, we're looking at some days in the 80s and some rain chances as well. And congratulations to Kevin Brochette from Millsboro. He doesn't need an umbrella, but he just won a brand new umbrella, courtesy of Paul Davis and Coast TV. More on the warmer temperatures and our rain chances the next several days and my full forecast after the break. We're seeing an absolutely gorgeous Monday across Delmarva, but it was a cold start. We began in the 30s and 40s, almost frosty at some inland locations, but now it's warming up quickly. Here's our Tyndall's Casual Furniture camera from Laurel. You're at 67 with abundant sunshine, unlimited visibility, and with full sunshine and drier air today. We're going to be warming into the low to mid 70s away from the coast, but a little cooler at the beaches with the sea breeze. But our storyline today, yes, it's mild. It's sensational with wall-to-wall sunshine. Once again, milder inland with mid-70s there, but cooler 60s at the coast. And then midweek, it's warm, upper 70s and low 80s. But at that time, a few more clouds and maybe a chance of a few showers too. Now, the downside to the drier, nice weather is the higher tree pollen, and we've got that for oak, ash, birch, and maple. So if you're sniffling and sneezing, well, that is the reason why, because that tree pollen is so high. And we did knock it down a little bit over the weekend with the rain, but not a lot of rain chances as we go through this week. And look at the temperatures now, a good 30 degrees warmer than this morning. We were in the upper 30s. Now we're upper 60s around Millsboro, 67 there, already 70 in Seaford and Willard, 67 in Milton. But a little cooler at the beaches, 61 in Ocean City, with Bethany Beach at 60 and 59 at Indian River Inlet. I think into the afternoon we will be a sea breeze kicking in, and then that will kind of knock off your temperatures into the low 60s, kind of top them off there. We're already starting to see a bit of a sea breeze along the coast, but inland areas, I don't think the sea breeze will be affecting you as much, as we're looking at a lot of clear skies on the visible satellite picture. We have high pressure essentially over the top of us. Gorgeous conditions from the northeast all the way to the mid-Atlantic and the Ohio Valley. The one trouble spot is the upper Mississippi Valley, where they could be looking at severe weather into Minnesota and Wisconsin, but we're not really concerned about that. We're going to see high pressure keeping us high and dry the next couple of days. So Futurecast this afternoon has us warming into the 70s, mid-70s, inland areas, I think cooler 50s and 60s at the coast where we do have that sea breeze developing, and that will keep your temperatures there, while inland areas fall into the 60s this evening. Overnight, it's clear and not as cold as this morning. By tomorrow morning with 40s and 50s. And then for tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures surging into the 70s and 80s and pretty breezy at the coast as well. Through Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, there will be a cold front, could give us a stray shower into the morning hours, and the winds will shift to the northwest, but not a lot of cold air behind that front. So lower 80s away from the coast, 60s and 70s at the beaches for your Wednesday, as we're looking at that sea breeze kicking in, and then those winds turn southerly, and then they start picking up from the southwest as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, and that will really warm those temperatures as we have a cold front back to the west, and temperatures in the 70s and 80s with a summer-like feel into the middle part of the week. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, mid-70s today, lots of sunshine, down to 47 tomorrow morning, and then near 80 with mostly sunny skies on Tuesday, 79. A stray shower Wednesday morning, otherwise 82. It does cool down a little bit Thursday, but then, well, more showers by Friday, 83, and then a cooler weekend, maybe some rain Saturday, 75, and then a cooler 69 for the high on Sunday and mostly sunny.
Thank you, Bob. And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 5:30, Indian River hosts Pandua Academy in girls soccer. Then at 10:30, it's the final score. And over on the DSN Plus app, along with those games of the night at 4 p.m., it's a lacrosse double feature. That is Worcester Prep and Salisbury School girls and Worcester Prep and Sussex Academy boys. Then at 5:30, Caesar Rodney faces Queen Anne's in boys lacrosse. And Cape Henlopen is home with North Carolina in girls lacrosse. And here's a look at what's coming up this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
We know that Mondays can be rough, but they're always sunny here on Coast Life. Let's see what's coming up today on the show. If you are in the market for a new Ford and you don't work at Preston, don't worry. You can still get employee pricing. We'll tell you how.
Plus, we're going to be looking at the Kentucky Derby. There's a couple of events going on in the area that you could take part in, and you're just not going to want to miss what we have with all this horsing around.
And all that fun and more is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you there.
To demolish or to renovate, that is the debate about the Army Reserve building on Savannah Road in Lewis right now. And today officials will present an update on that issue. The vacant building will be for the City of Lewis, the Board of Public Works, and the Police Department. Lewis committed to buying that building back in 2022 with the idea of having more space for the city and BPW's growing staff. Some locals say they are ready for a fresh start.
Well, I would rather see it demolished and something more familiar with the territory. Historic Lewis, maybe a little more pleasant looking. What's there right now really doesn't say much.
The BPW says they are creating a subcommittee with the city to further discuss the future of that building. That project will be funded by the city and the BPW. Today's meeting takes place at 1 p.m. In Milford, an upgrade for the Food Bank of Delaware is happening today. The organization will introduce a new food digester. The new equipment can remove up to 500 pounds of food waste from a landfill each day. The food digester uses a natural process to break down food waste. According to the Food Bank of Delaware, since being installed, the food bank has redirected almost 6,000 pounds of food from a landfill. And coming up, Milton Deal Dilemma will tell you what steps the town needs to complete first before it can go through with a proposed land purchase. Milton town officials are considering buying several lots downtown, but first they will need to follow a due diligence process in order to make that purchase. Tonight, Milton officials will get an update on the 6 lots they are looking to buy. The cost of that land is $1.65 million. Right now, a survey, mapping, and other soil testing are still underway. And one idea for the area is a 26,000 square foot building, which would include a new police station, a dedicated meeting space for the town, and workspace for council members.
It's a building to meet the needs of the people that operate the town on a day-to-day basis. And therefore, they should have a significant amount of input on the configuration of it.
And the final presentation, which includes the site plan and soil analysis, will be presented at tonight's meeting at 6:30.
Amazing weather to kick off the week. Why can't we have days like this on the weekends? Just gorgeous clear skies on the tunnel and razor cam, warming into the mid to upper 60s this afternoon. We'll call it a magnificent Monday with wall-to-wall sunshine, highs in the 70s, even warmer through the week ahead. And make sure to call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone, another way to get your forecast. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Your 10-day forecast is next. We're looking at gorgeous conditions the rest of your Monday. Get out there, maybe brown bag it with lunch outside. Great day to maybe take care of the lawn with temperatures in the mid-70s. Light winds, cooler at the beaches with the sea breeze. And then not as cold tomorrow morning, a low of 47. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 79 mostly sunny on Tuesday. Lower 80s Wednesday, real nice, and maybe a shower with the front, but not a big deal. Cooler Thursday, warm again Friday with 80s and showers. And some of those can linger into early Saturday, otherwise turning cooler again. 69 on Sunday, overnight lows into the upper 40s. And as of now, early next week is looking dry and mild.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.